Psyche Truth. Life, wisdom.
Hey, it's Dena and Maddie bringing you a bikini body leg series that takes you from the basics to the most advanced moves to make sure that you're getting the most out of this workout to give you sculpted and toned legs. So now we're going to get started in this video with the basics. We're going to start with a forward fold, and I'm doing this exercise barefoot because it's kind of like a yoga move, and also it'll help really feel ground into the ground and more stable. So we're going to start with just hinging over your hips and placing your hands on the ground. You're going to need to bend your knees for this, and keep a slight bend in your knees and bend them as much as you need to actually place your hands on the ground. For a lot of people that are inflexible, this is actually going to be pretty tough. So what I want you to do is just relax here and then slowly start to straighten up your legs, and then place your hands either on their shins or on your thighs and raise up with a flat back. And you should really squeeze your shoulder blades in, so kind of feel like you're squeezing a pencil in between your back. And this is a really good back strengthening exercise for people that have lower back pain. So keep a soft bend in your knees and lower back down. And then I want you to bend your knees as much as it takes to place your chest on your thighs. So actually rest your chest on your thighs and just relax here for a little bit. And then I want you to raise up again with a flat back, pull your shoulders back and down. And then you can place your hands either on your thighs or on your shins, whatever works best for you. So we're going to do this another couple of times, but you should really feel this in your lower back, and that's really going to strengthen your lower back, and you should also feel it in your hamstrings as well. Make sure to keep a soft bend in your knees as well. Take a deep breath and then lower down, and then come back up with a flat back raise and then lower down. And you really want to make sure there's a deep bend in your thighs for this. Raise up. And you can either place your hands above or below your knee, but don't place your hands on your knees, because that's gonna cause you to lock your knees, and that could potentially actually hurt you later. So either above or below the knees, and make sure you have a soft bend in those knees as well. If you're feeling strong, you can actually lift up your hands and you don't need to use them. And back down. And you can either place your hands on your shins, your thighs, or your back and do a slight back raise. Back down. And then I want you to roll from the bottom of the spine all the way up, keeping your head as the last thing to come up. Arms up overhead. Deep breath in. And we're going to do that another couple more times. So I really want you to feel this in your hamstrings and in the sides of your back. So that's where this exercise really targets. So make sure that you have a flat back and a soft bend in your knees. So fold forward with a round back, bend your knees, and then come up with a flat back raise with either your hands in any of the positions I mentioned, but keep a soft bend in your knees. Slowly back down. Inhale, come up, the flat back raise. Slowly roll back down. Come up with a flat back raise. You should really feel this at the tops of your hamstrings. This is a nice hamstring strengthening exercise. Fold down. We're going to do this 2 more times. Up and down, bending the knees. Coming up with a flat back. Bending the knees. And now we're going to come up all the way to a standing position, with the head being the last thing to come up. Arms up overhead and back down. So I straightened my hair for this video to look cute for you guys, and I'm already starting to sweat, so hair goes up. But what do you guys think? Do y'all like it straight or curly? I kind of like it straight, but it takes way too much effort. So ponytail it is. So we're going to get into the next exercise, which is a squat. So I know that's everybody's favorite exercise, and it's one of the most effective leg exercises. So this is the basic video, so we're going to make it nice and simple. And I want you to really focus on just basic form, right? So I want you to take your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart and slightly turn your toes out. And you really want your knees to follow along the line and the angle that your toes are going. So no knees in like this, okay? So knees are going out. So I want you to just kind of squat down partially. It doesn't have to be 90 degrees, but I want you to really reach your hips back and then come up and squeeze that butt. So on the way down, really reach your hips back where you're almost kind of on the heels of your feet. Like you almost feel like you're falling over. And what's the worst that could happen is you'll just take a step back. I'd rather you do that than do a squat like this, okay? This is bad for your knees, bad. We don't want our toes and our knees like this. So really reach that hips back and come up and keep your chest lifted as well. You wanna make sure that you have a nice strong core and engage that core to make it nice and stable. So really push out your knees on the way up, and you really should feel, when you push your knees out, you should really feel it kind of in your glute medius and that side of your butt right there. So keep going. We're gonna do another couple squats like this. Just go as low as you can. If you can't go that low, then just focus on doing the form correctly. You're still benefiting from this exercise, even if you don't have the most range of motion. And then come up and really squeeze the butt on the way up. So I'm gonna show you the squat from another angle. So I really want you to focus on reaching your hips back and not just dropping your hips down. So reaching your hips back almost means like you're feeling you're about to fall, but that makes sure that your knees aren't going past your toes. And you can go, if I don't go all the way down. If you can't go all the way down, just go half midway. I would prefer you going like this than 90 degrees. Just something that protects your knees a little bit more. So we're gonna go into the stretch for this, and I want you to go all the way down, and you might need to put your hands on the ground for this, and you actually need to take your feet out a little bit further. And I really want you to take your elbows and press your knees out. This is gonna feel really, if you drive a lot, if you sit a lot, this is gonna feel really, really good for your hips. And I want you to just kind of move back and forth, getting a little bit of flexion and mobility in your ankles, and really take your elbows and press those hips apart. And this is a really good position to be in just for strengthening of that core. Make sure you're lifted, your chest is lifted. If you need to use a wall for this to balance, you can do that too. If you need to be up off your heels, try to open up your feet a little bit more if your heels are off the ground. But this is really good if you have tight ankles, like girls that wear heels all the time. It's actually gonna make your ankles really tight, so it's gonna make a squat really hard. So I think I've made you sit in this position long enough. We're gonna go back into squats. So let's get back into squats. I really want you to focus on reaching those hips back and then keeping that chest lifted and squeezing your butt on the way up. And take nice deep breaths. Make sure that you're breathing. So Karina helped dress me today, and we had a little dispute based upon colors. I thought this bottom was red, but Karina says I'm wearing pink. So I'm not quite sure. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Was this red or pink? I think it's red. I don't know. Maybe I'm dressed in all pink though. I don't know. I think it's a cute outfit anyway. So keep going. Squeeze your glutes, making sure that you're pressing your knees out, and really pressing through those heels on the way up too. Take a deep breath and then come back up. And now we're going to get down to the squats again. And it's actually called garland pose in yoga. It's a yogi squat. So if you have a mat, you're actually going to take your feet at the width of the mat and then go all the way down. And this is a really good stretch for your ankles. Try to keep your chest lifted if you can. I like to press my elbows in. I'm using my hands. This is a really good hip opener stretch for all of us people that do a lot of sitting. It's really good to just kind of elbow, kind of wiggle around and really get comfortable in this position. This is a very natural position that we do not get in often enough in our modern world with our fancy chairs and toilets all of those things that make our life more convenient, but make our bodies hurt. So back up. And our next exercise is going to be a simple calf raise. So our next exercise is calf raises. Really simple. It needs a little bit of balance, but if you have some balance issues, grab a chair, grab a wall, grab a friend, whatever. So just slowly raise up onto the balls of your feet and then slowly back down. And this is a really good exercise that's kind of can incorporate more than just your calves, especially if you're using it for balance. So make sure you're going really slowly, taking space to do this movement properly. Don't just fling your body up there and down. So that's not only not effective for your muscles, but bad for your joints. Keep a soft bend in your knees as well. I don't want you to don't have completely straight legs. Well, if you waver or quiver, that's totally normal. Even the fitness instructor doesn't always have perfect balance. So really focus on squeezing those calves on the way up and then touching softly to the heel on the way back down. So just laying back down on your heel. Keep a soft bend in your knee and land softly as well. One more. And then we're going to get into a nice calf stretch, which is really good if any of you ladies wear heels. So I'm going to turn to the side so you guys can really see. But take your left foot about a foot behind you and really press into the heel of that foot. So I really want you to focus. You can actually bend your knee and straighten it to make sure that you're feeling it correctly. And if you have really, really tight calves, if you have something that you can put your foot up on, like a curb, against the curb of a street, that's a really good way to just stretch out your heels as well. So right foot back and really try to plant that heel down. And you can even bend your knee to stretch out different parts of your calf. And really kind of push through that front quad to actually push back and give you that nice stretch. Yeah, tight calves are actually a really, really big problem because anytime you're walking around on those high heels, it actually shortens your calf muscle. So whenever you take those shoes off, you're gonna have to stretch out those calves. Back to calf raises. And slowly come up and then back down. With ease and control. Now I'm doing this barefoot. You can either do this barefoot or with shoes. It doesn't really matter. I like doing things barefoot because I like using the muscles in my feet. I think sometimes we wear shoes too often and we sit on chairs too often when we need to do things that are more natural. Too bad the concrete and the bare feet really don't go together, right? And broken glass and stuff. So squeeze your calves on the way up and slowly with control, lower them back down. We're going to do another couple of these. Your calves should be burning. I know I'm making you do them really slowly. Up and then slowly back down, landing softly. And we're going to turn to the side for another stretch. My calves are burning a little bit, so yours should be too. And if your calves are burning, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Make sure to like and comment and subscribe to Psyche2's channel and check out all my videos. And take your right foot back. If you're feeling anything in your calves or your butt, make sure to share it with your friends. So make sure to breathe while you're stretching and then bend your knee a little bit if that helps to stretch. And I've actually come up with a calendar that I know the hardest thing sometimes to do is figure out which workout you're doing that day. So I've come up with a calendar that balances strength and stretching and cardio workouts for you guys. So make sure to check out not only the other videos in my leg series, but all the other videos that I have on the calendar as well. And you can find a link to this calendar in the description of the video. So for the last move, we're going to do lying on the ground. So our last exercise will be a leg lift from the lying down position. So I want you to get on your mat and bring your legs in close together and actually flex them. So keep them nice and tight. And then take the right leg and just lift it up and then the left leg, and lift that one up. So you want to keep both of your legs tight at this time, and don't necessarily have to move your leg very far off the ground. You just have to do it with control and squeeze your butt on the way up. So these are really good for not only just the lower back and your butt, but also your quad as well. So keep everything tight, point your toes, and breathe. And then make sure to squeeze your butt on the way up and keep everything tight. Try not to move around too much on the hips. So no, don't fling around. It's a slow and controlled lift, isolation. And then for our stretch, you'll just be coming up. Bring your right leg behind your right arm, and then cross your foot in front of you. So this is like a pigeon stretch in yoga, and you'll automatically feel this in your right glute. I feel that right away. It's a nice stretch. Try to make sure that your foot is flexed, and that be really careful on your knee. So look behind you and make sure that your knee and your foot is trailing along. So nothing awkward. Make sure that your knee and your ankle are in a straight line. And then come up. And then switch with your left knee behind your left wrist. And then you can take your foot up. Bring that right knee a little bit further back. Make sure that your knee and your ankle are in the same line, and then flex your foot. You really should feel this in your left hip. It should feel really good. You can either stay up or come down, but make sure you keep breathing. That's the most important part. Really breathe, and you should definitely feel that stretch. And come back up, and we're going to do this leg lift one more time. So bring your legs together, point your toes, and then lift your right foot up, right leg up in a straight line, and then left leg. Keep your legs tight and engaged, and make sure to squeeze your butt on the way up. Breathe. This should feel really, you should feel this in your butt. So make sure to give me a comment if you're feeling the burn. Take deep breaths. Make sure not to hold your breath. Because a lot of times we hold our breath when we're working out, and that's not good. Just do a couple more rounds right here. And left. With control, slowly move it up and down. And then now we're going to take it back into that pigeon stretch. So come back up. If that hurts your knees, that other stretch that we did, you can do a figure 4 stretch on your back, which I show in my Bikini Body butt video workout series. I have tons of other stretching videos you can check out on Psyche Truth as well. And come back up, bring your left knee behind your left wrist, flex your left foot, and then drop your right knee further back on the mat. And just relax and breathe into the stretch. And come back up. So our last stretch is going to be a downward dog stretch. It's also going to help stretch out those calves as well. So come up onto all fours and then into the plank position. You might need to wiggle your feet further back. And this is a really good way to teach you how to get into downward dog. And then just lift your hips up and really press your shoulders back and down, and press your chest towards your thighs. And you can rock back on your left and your right. This is a really nice calf stretch. You can even go on one foot and put all of your weight on the left side and really bring that left heel down to the ground. And then take your right leg and put your left foot behind it. You should really feel that calf stretching out. And then back into a plank. And we're done. So good job. Thanks so much for following along. Learn more about me at todayiwillbefit.com and make sure to subscribe to Psyche Truth for all the other videos in this series. Also, check out the description of this video for links to my full body workout calendar and the rest of the series as well.